Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today I wanted to tackle the wall shutdown and what's going on. So I know this is a pretty heated topic out there, but nonetheless it's stuff that people want to learn and know more about. So I'll go ahead and get right to the question. So the question that I pulled is, the issue of the wall and government shutdowns all over the media. In my opinion, the standoff isn't about not wanting the wall because it was favored in '06. It was about the Democrats not wanting Trump to succeed in fulfilling any of his campaign promises. The battle over the politics is so bad that a GoFundMe campaign was created to fund the wall by the people because representatives won't come together and create a border security compromise that the people clearly want. And what they said in this question was that almost $16 million has been donated so far. As a countermeasure to the wall campaign, someone started a campaign called Ladders to Get Over Trump's Wall, which in reality goes for legal aid for people crossing the border illegally, but makes no sense to this person asking the question, because to me, why is this even needed or supported? Because legal crossing wouldn't require legal aid or a legal benefit to these people. So ultimately they wanted to know what's going on here, how long is it going to last, and what's going to happen. They were curious on my thoughts or my take, what intuitively I got out of this situation. And there's several links here linking to different articles based on the GoFundMe account, the counter GoFundMe account, things about the wall, things about in '06 where they favored some kind of fancy fencing or border control, that type of thing. So I also left that documentation there as well. If you want to go to my blog itself, it's listed out. So getting to the meat of the reading, when I looked at this, I mean, it is definitely a powerful topic. There's a lot of energy about it. I can't even explain how much energy is surrounding this. Emotions are high. People are super divided. And as I tuned into it, it feels like so many different things are going on. Some is emotion-based and some is agenda-based. And oddly, some of it that I tuned into, it looked like they had a really calm, methodical thought process going on behind all of what's happening. So what I wanted to do was kind of start from the beginning and see, how do we get to where we are now? What is really going on? And it looks like several years ago, even decades in fact, when the country was in a different place, it was different leadership, different administration and so forth, border security and an illusion of border security was really important. And I see that a certain amount of drug smuggling was permitted by some of the ABC agencies of government. I'll let you determine what I mean by that. The permitted amount, and I'm referring to the drug smuggling, is created, a huge black market of revenue for certain people. And a wall and a fence or monitored boarding was encouraged. It helped the economy. It helped a lot of people, but it also helped people to feel more protected. And it didn't hinder the permitted revenue stream that was happening. And everybody, it was kind of a win-win. So back in '06, they didn't mind as much border security because they were still able to accomplish what it was, and that was letting some smuggling happen. The black market of drugs was still going on. Certain people were getting rich. So all in all, people were happy on both sides of the fence, so to speak. So you fast forward to now, and the agenda and the plan is a lot different. So building the wall, even though some ways it's barbaric, or it sounds barbaric, and then I saw an image of ancient times, it was like this castle or this fortress, and it had this big wall about it. It was effective then, it would still be effective now. And I flashed to different areas of the world that still use border control and use walls for their security measures. And I saw an image of Israel. And I know we've heard about Israel in the news, but nonetheless, it's very valid. It is working. And, this ancient security system, with a few modifications, it works. I mean, it's proven to be working. So, all in all, the question I get is, if it works, why would they not want it? What is really going on? And I saw, and pretty clear, it was pretty definitive, that people on the left, especially the very far left, not so much in the middle of the road, but people far left, they're concerned about votes. They need votes, and they need to grow a voter base. So, the current base, it doesn't seem as strong as what it was. And many people in general, they're getting tired of the government, they're tired of the politics, and they feel like people aren't necessarily representative of them. They may want something, the platform that people run on they, you know, placate these people, but ultimately corporations and the lobbyists, they're the ones that win. And I get that, you know, modality of politics, that's exactly why Trump got into office, because they wanted someone different. They didn't want a career politician. They didn't want to hear things. They wanted not just talk, they wanted action. And they felt like Trump would be the person to do that. And that's one of the reasons that he got where he is now. So in the process of all this and realizing all this, the Democrats needed to figure out a new way of thinking, or a way to win people back to gain their voter base. And I heard that there's a lot of intentional things going on to get people emotionally invested in the cause. It's through anger, through outrage, through division, through all this kind of stuff. And I get some things are legitimately justified. Some things that go on, you know, need to be called out. They need to be put in balance, and they need to make people realize, you know, what is happening. But it's more and more the focus is to spin anything and everything that Trump does is bad. Creating news out of things that are nothing. Some things are valid, most things are really nothing based. And I got an image of Melania in her pink dress. That was just one example of things that are really not news that they're making news out of. There was another article or another thing out there that I flashed to of Melania walking in high heels going somewhere, and they made a huge deal about it. That isn't news. That is just something that happened, but yet it takes, you know, front page on a lot of different media outlets. So some things are valid, most things aren't, but it's all in the name of rising an emotion, getting a feeling, getting all the stuff stirred up. And it is because Democrats are trying to get people emotionally drawn back. And again, I'm referring to the radical left more so than the people right in the middle, but that's what's happening. And I got that, you know, it's so hard to stay in the middle and stay impartial, regardless of right, left, or in the middle, because the media is out there and they're so biased. You really have to seek out your own information. So moving forward from that, in addition to all this emotional stuff that's going on, Democrats, like I said, need to grow a voter base to solidify their position. They've already gotten colleges and universities on their side, a lot of them, and it's almost frowned upon to be a conservative. You know, back in the day, you could be liberal, you could be conservative, you could have normal conversations, but now it's not so much like that. You get labeled, you get put in categories, and it's all about division. It's not about, you know, expanding thought. It's not about sharing ideas. It's not about getting people to see your side. This is all in the name of division. So conservatives, they stay quiet. Doesn't mean they don't exist. They're just afraid to speak up because they don't want to be labeled unjustifiably. So I get what the real goal is to get this next surge of undocumented people, get them here and get them voting. And the reason being is because a lot of the undocumented people, they need some kind of government help, and they need the assistance. They need to depend on some of the social programs that are out there, and those programs are programs that Democrats support. So by supporting the undocumented people here through programs, it automatically sways their vote and starts to, in an indirect but yet kind of direct way, grow their voter base. Trump sees this for what it is and he wants to stop it. I hear a conversation in my head and I felt like I was hearing Trump talk. It was his voice, and then I heard the voice of an interviewer, and I couldn't tell if it's his current thoughts, if this has already happened, or if it's yet to happen. But nonetheless, it was this conversation that I heard in my head, and it was like I heard Trump make this bold statement. He's like, walls work, we need a wall. The interviewer says, don't they seem archaic? Isn't there something more modern that's effective? Trump says, like I said, they work. Look at Israel. The interviewer says, well, what will you do if it doesn't work? That's a lot of tax dollars. Trump just says, walls work. The interviewer says, are you willing to compromise? And Trump says, we need a wall. Compromise must still fund a wall. I promised a wall. The people voted for a wall. I'm building a wall. The interviewer says, why do you think the Dems are resisting this? What can you do to help this pass? And the Dems said, Trump then responds back to this. The Dems resist most anything that this administration is for. I tried to offer millions to a pathway to citizenship, and the Dems resisted. No matter what I do, they will resist. And this conversation, it was like it went back and forth over and over, and then it kind of faded away, and it felt like it really went nowhere, this conversation. So I felt like this was symbolic of what is really going on right now. I was left with the overall impression that Trump will compromise, but he's growing tired of trying to give them what they want and being met with resistance the entire way. And I see him willing to accept a deal, but it has to incorporate funding a wall. He's very aware of the GoFundMe campaign going on right now and that people want this wall. And he realizes that, you know, this was part of the campaign that he ran on. He has a huge ego, and that ego is inflating right now. And it's also giving him this mental outlook that he's not going to back down. And he knows he needs to accomplish getting this done for his 2020 campaign. So all of this is going on in his mind. Is there a little bit of wiggle room? I get that there is, yes, but is he going to back down? No, there's going to be some form of a wall built. And then I got that the Senate Dems, they're going to be forced to submit somewhat to this, and even with that, they're going to spin it as a win. It's like the Democrat or the Dems in the Senate, they're going to somehow compromise to this wall project, but they're going to spin it in a way that they feel like they won and that Trump didn't really get what he wanted. It feels like there's a lot of anger to it, but this spin makes them feel better. I also got that this standoff's going to be about another week. It's going to be settled around New Year's or close to it. And I do ultimately see he's going to get this wall in the end, but it was interesting because I got that they're going to call it something else, but in reality it's a wall. It's like he's going to be able to build a wall, but the Dems are going to say, well, he got his fencing structure or border security. Like, I feel like there's going to be some crafty way of words that they spin it because they don't want to call it the wall because he's called it the wall all along. It's just a them versus him kind of a thing. So, all in all, that is what I got regarding this whole topic and this situation that's going on. I want to thank you for listening. Please feel free to leave a comment, like me, share me, all those wonderful things. With censorship and shadow banning and all that, it is really hard to get the message out there. So anybody who wants to share this, please feel free to pass it on. I'm super grateful for that. And again, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you. Bye.